On the 1st of October 2008, I left my safe harbor, KPMG, the consulting firm, and I jumped into the ice-cold water. 6 months later, I was bankrupt. What had happened? Well, I'm a European, a hardcore European. I did the Erasmus exchange program in 97-98 in Barcelona, where I still live today. And I wanted to do something for Europe. So I came up with this vision, this idea to create a mega festival in Berlin for Europeans, an Erasmus for everyone. I found 5 partners. We became friends. We worked on this project hard. We created this logo. We had visualizations. I gave a TEDx talk about this project. We even created a song for the project.
Greek dance to the friends, Appenzeller football fans, colors also frozen, Magic Dragon Amsterdam, Swiss watches, beer bar, Döner kebab, sauna, flamenco help for Africa, Yves Saint Laurent, the mega star, Operation Islands, Mozart, Spring of Prague, German cars, baby lips, Comfort, Norwegian fjord and Coldplay hits, Scottish kilt, oil rigs, the Irish and St. Patrick's, French wine, Spanish wine, Italian wine, or Schwanstein.
On the 1st of October 2008, I leave KPMG. 6 months later, I'm at Rosenthaler Platz. Rosenthaler Platz, a big square in the center of Berlin, amazing place. And there I am with my friend Sam Sonite. He cannot really walk well anymore. When we walk down the stairs, a big yellow train comes in, huge noise, graffiti. A guy next to me has more piercings in his face than the Bible has pages. It smells like empty beer bottles. And the yellow ticket machine says back then €2.10. I grab into my right pocket €1.27. The shit hit the fan. But I had to keep going. I had to do my European project. Months later, it was in September 2009. My partners and I, we struggled, then we got together again. This must be celebrated. You know, Berlin is a town to celebrate all the time. And even with little money, I borrowed money. You can party. I lost my computer. The next day, I find my computer back in the last bar that I can remember. That has to be celebrated. And the next day, I fly back to Barcelona. My back then already special Rose picks me up at the airport, doesn't say a word. We drive to my former flat, no word. We take the elevator up to the 5th floor in my former flat, no word. We sit down on the table in the almost empty flat because I had to move out already, no word. Then suddenly, Rose speaks. Florian, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Seconds later, one of the most miraculous things in my life happened. In 1949, Joseph Campbell, an American author, writes this book, The Hero with 1,000 Faces. In this book, Joseph Campbell describes the prototype of nearly all stories in the world. And this is what he calls the hero's journey. If you're interested in depth in storytelling, I have an entire YouTube live session that you see here above. Follow the link and check this session. Today I want to go specially into one aspect of that hero's journey. Here you can see a simplified version of the hero's journey. Originally 12 stopovers, I put it in 3. CSI, like the series. It starts at home. My home was KPMG. I knew the people, I had my mentors like Luis Walter in Barcelona, and that was my home. But then I left it, I leave my comfort zone, and I enter the challenge. In my case, the festival, the European project. Then of course I enter the struggle, €1.27. And then comes, almost at the end of the struggle, a sacred moment of storytelling. And I tell you, hardly anyone ever pays respect to that sacred moment. The moment in Greek is called anagnorisis. Anagnorisis. In Greek, it means recognition. It's the moment when the protagonist in a story, like when you tell a personal story, you suddenly see things differently. And you know anagnorisis because you see it in all those movies. Let's take a look at The Gladiator.
I know that you would die for honor. You would die for Rome. You would die for the memory of your ancestors. But I, on the other hand, I'm an entertainer. God!
You killed the man who set you free.
You see, when the gladiator says he killed the man who set you free, this is anagnorisis. Suddenly his gladiator guy thinks, wow, shit, I have to kill him. This is the moment when something changes. Or let's take a look at Bohemian Rhapsody. This is not a spoiler. This would be a spoiler. Yeah, I knew that Bruce Willis was dead at the beginning. You see, that would be a spoiler. If you have seen Bohemian Rhapsody, you know the scene.
Come home.
Home. Anagnorisis. From that moment on, he kicks out his stupid manager and lover Paul, he goes back to London, he reunites with his band, and then they go to Wembley and they have the fucking best concert of their entire life. This is anagnorisis. Home. One last example. This here is Mark Hunter. Mark Hunter from Brisbane, Australia, a very dear Toastmasters friend of mine. In 2009, Mark Hunter won the World Championship of Public Speaking. And I'm convinced that he won that one because of anagnorisis. In his speech, he fights with his fate. You know, ever since he was 22, he's sitting in a wheelchair after an accident. And in his speech, he talks about having doubts. Who do I want to be? You know, Don Quixote, wee-hee, fight for the right of the disabled or just let it go and be one of them. And then he finds the answer to this important question, where he says many important answers are found in life in the kitchen of his grandmother, Nana. Listen to what Mark Hunter discovers in that kitchen.
A splash was followed by her silent invitation to look in the water-filled sink. One wildly bright red apple had accidentally tumbled in and was now bobbing amongst a dozen green tomatoes. She said to me, "Mark, look in the sink. What do you want to be?" I looked at my choice. Do I want to be the one apple or one tomato of many? And I remembered thinking, who looks at fruit and vegetables and gets philosophical? So how did I answer Nana? As I watched her, I finally understood her wisdom. "Nana," I said. She stopped, turned, waited. "Nana, I so want to be the water."
The audience laughed because of the unexpected character of the sentence, "I so want to be the water." But this is anagnorisis. Anagnorisis is a sacred moment. I want you to take a sheet of paper. Think about a moment of challenge and struggle in your life. There must be a moment when suddenly everything changed. That is anagnorisis. Write it down. This is rhetorical gold. Back in my former apartment in Barcelona, the year 2009. Rose sits down with me on the table, empty apartment. She looks at me and suddenly she speaks. "Florian, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Why don't you write a book?" A book?